afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate you coming out all the way to the East Mountains. We know it's cold, but it's beautiful out here, so we appreciate you being here. We're super excited to announce our Drone as First Responder program. We have a bunch of people here that are in support of our program. We thank you guys for covering this story. We're gonna have a fun day. It's gonna be a little laid back, showing some drone demonstrations. Today we have Sheriff Allen speaking. We also have Chairman Commissioner Eric Olivas here with us today, and members of the Skydio team. So we'll kick it off and then do some demonstrations out here for you, but we will also take all of you guys inside to see the back end of the product and from a pilot's point of view, what that looks like as well. And we'll open it up to a Q&A and any sort of side interviews that you guys might want. First, I'm gonna have Sheriff Allen step up and show you a little trick he has up his sleeve.
Good afternoon, everybody. A little trick we want to show you. I am excited today. Thank you all for coming out to our beautiful East Area Command Center, and also for Chair Olivas, the Bernalillo County Commission, for joining us. I always like to thank our county staff, our commissioners, for always the support that they give to law enforcement. We're a team here at Bernalillo County, and without the whole commission and the staff at Bernalillo County and our civilian personnel, we would not be successful. So thank you all. I always want to put that out there. Today is the announcement of our Drone as a First Responder program. And all that is a continuation of what we announced a year and a half ago of the drone program we were bringing. When we took office, our technology was far behind, and I always want to make sure that we are very transparent with the community, and specifically before the legislative session starts, when I am asking for capital outlay money. I want to make sure that the citizens that we serve, that we are very transparent what we are doing with the taxpayer money, and making sure that they know what programs that we're bringing with taxpayer money to do everything that we can to protect them as first responders. And I say first responders, and not specifically as the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. We also have Bernalillo County Fire and Rescue here. We have seen what has been going on in California, and one of the reasons that we chose here in the East Mountain, hopefully it never happens, but that we work in concert with each other, and we are in lockstep to make sure that the citizens in the East Mountain are just not protected from crime, but if a fire does occur, that we have the technology, the resources, the people, and the support that we need to do the best that we can and do it with transparency. One of the key things that you will see with the demonstrations that we do later to continue the drone program that we have is the intel that it will bring. We will show you the demonstrations, what it does, how we can eventually get to the point where we are now. We're going to show you the steps that we are taking to get where we want to be. And that is flying drones remotely from our new real-time operations center. What that does is brings intel to our deputies. If somebody's bringing a call into service, and I won't use South Valley, North Valley, anywhere in incorporated and the unincorporated areas of Bernalillo County, the faster intel that we have coming through dispatch into our deputies, not only is it faster response times, but it's also a tactical advantage. And what I mean with a tactical advantage is, do deputies really need to go to that area if it's just someone on the corner that's really not causing any issues or problems? We also don't want to sit here and harass the community either. Not only does it cut down on response times, how are we properly de-escalating the situation and making sure that we're bringing the necessary resources in to handle the call correctly? Also, safer responses for our deputies. If we have a safe response for our deputies, that also brings a more professional response and a more professional outlook for the agency and the citizens we serve, to make sure that we're doing it with the utmost professionalism, safety, and their concerns in mind. I know that as we announce this program and how we're moving further with the drone program, people are always going to ask, why does law enforcement always keep an eye on us? We are not doing that. We don't have real time to where we're looking into your backyards, we're looking into your windows. We are not doing that at all. And we have proven that through the calls of service that we have had. Not only have drones saved lives just doing SWAT calls, but it has also helped cut down on liability doing pursuits in the city, in the unincorporated areas, with our auto theft problem, with our organized retail crime. We have real-time info that is coming to our deputies to ensure that the safety of our community comes first. An example I will give you is if we have a burglary in progress, is if we have an organized retail crime, an auto theft, and the person leaves the scene before deputies arrive. This program that we are bringing will have the capability to ensure that we are following the suspect, making sure we're de-escalating the situation. We might not want to take the suspect down in front of a crowd if we are at somewhere in Coronado Mall. We want to make sure that the program and the money that we are giving to this program does everything we can for priorities of life, and that is first protecting the community that we serve. It's also going to help assisting other agencies in remote areas. Our SWAT team, Special Weapons and Tactics, assist the New Mexico State Police all around the state. I want to make sure that our operators have the force multipliers and technology and equipment to make sure that they're safe when they are away from Bernalillo County, and to also help assist other agencies. This program just is not for Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. It is for anybody who wants to be involved in our program, who needs help and assistance. I believe it is our responsibility with taxpayer money and capital outlay that I ask from senators and representatives that we are also assisting people in their areas also. I've said it time and time again. We are a proactive agency. We are here to tamper down on crime. We will never be reactive. Reactive makes the crime go up too far, and we want to make sure that we are cutting it off right away. We can use the example of the Central Corridor. There's plenty of operations that we are doing in that area and also around Bernalillo County, and you don't see them all the time, but our drones are in the air. Our drones do help us, and it also saves lives. This program is just going to exemplify and it's going to magnify what we're actually doing. I want to reemphasize, most programs try to cut down on response times. That is very important. Our response times are pretty decent in Bernalillo County and the primary areas that we serve. We want to cut down on response times even further. But we'll be coming out with even more tactics that I won't announce to the media. But a tactical advantage, the bottom line, is saving lives. We always teach our deputies to go home. We want to make sure that everybody can go home every night. But let's be honest with each other. Sometimes that is not practical in certain deadly force scenario and operations. That is just how law enforcement is, but we want to make sure that we do everything in our power to make sure they go home. The example I will give again is if we have a large crowd, an active shooter, something at the mall, will these drones, which they will, bring the real-time intel to our deputies to bring in the proper resources and other agencies to assist us. But I don't want to speak too long. There's plenty of things that I need to talk about and show you doing the demonstration. We want to have fun today. But before I do that, I want to bring up Commissioner Eric Olivas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. I want to welcome everybody here to the East Mountains, the heart of District 5. And I want to give a real thank you to Sheriff Allen, our Bernalillo County Fire Department, and all of our deputies and the staff with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department for being here today, but also for what they do every single day throughout our community, keeping us safe and fighting crime, as the Sheriff said. On behalf of the Bernalillo County Commission, I want to offer my thanks and support for this specific project. I think Sheriff Allen has taken a very innovative approach in his efforts for law enforcement in our community, trying to use force multipliers like this drone program and other technology initiatives that he's put forward and the County Commission has funded. It is, as he said, a partnership, and we are just so proud to support him and support all of our deputies behind me and all throughout the county with programs like this, allowing us to multiply our efforts on crime, but not just crime. I love the fact that the Sheriff has talked about this program partnering with the Fire Department, because for folks out here in the East Mountain, we know that wildland fires are a huge issue. And if we can be more fiscally responsible by making sure that we partner rather than growing government and growing more programs, but partnering with the Sheriff's Department and the County Fire Department, we can share resources and still serve our constituents. So again, I'm just incredibly appreciative of the Sheriff today, and I want to congratulate him on this new program. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Before I bring Danny up here from Skydio, something that I failed to mention when I began. Anytime that the Sheriff's Office does any programs, we go out and we do our research. And I want to give Skydio a lot of credit, because not only are we looking what their mission is, and it is to help law enforcement and first responders to begin with, but not only who our partners are, but how high is their ceiling, how innovative are they, and do they align with the issues and align with our values as a mission. And I will tell you that Skydio does. That's why we chose them. There's plenty of vendors that are out there. We've met with them. We met with them yesterday on the technology and how we're going to improve this over time. and they have a lot of answers for you, and you will see after they speak exactly why the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office has partnered with them. But for now, I'd like to bring from Skydio up to the podium, Danny.
Hey everyone, my name is Danny Palumbo with Skydio, here as a true partner for BCSO. Honored to be here. Skydio is the largest American-made drone manufacturer here in the U.S. We specialize in supporting public safety and other members of our nation and allied nations too as well, in terms of providing situational awareness, being a true force multiplier in the realm of drones, as well as helping with de-escalation, tactical advantages in the field, and also supporting the community and officers in the field to bring everyone home safe, as Sheriff mentioned. We work with a lot of teams in the public safety sector here in the U.S., large departments, small, medium, and large, such as NYPD, Las Vegas Metro, Oklahoma City PD, and bringing a ubiquitous tool to every officer in the field, but also stretching the boundaries of innovation for DFR, drone as a first responder. We've seen this as a true force multiplier for teams to complement their air support assets, but also teams in the field. And we're honored to be here, looking forward to proving out this technology and being a true partner with BCSO. Looking forward to the demo today, and looking forward to the questions. But thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Jamie? We'll go ahead and start the demonstration however you want to set up. That way they can move their cameras and we can go from there.
I don't know who all is flying. Are we going to have Connor and Jeremy flying as well?
So for instance, if we have a crime scene happening, right, an incident, a call for service, we can actually get on top of it and figure out what the status is and figure out what type of response we need to give. So instead of having 5 deputies running code from across town, we can say this is actually much lower call, and we can slow them down and get them there in a timely manner, making it safer for the deputy and the public. We're crossing probably 400 or 500 people on the way to the call. Just overall, you're minimizing the risk by 400, 500 people.
Ready to go? Ready, everyone? Okay, great. So here we are inside the substation where it's nice and warm. We actually have a few drones outside. We'll do a live demonstration of the capabilities of flying remotely. We will showcase a couple of the technology capabilities and how it integrates into the current tech stack of BCSO, and actually showcase what this means in terms of DFR from a patrol level perspective, the extension of that as a force multiplier, but also what it looks like in terms of having fixed infrastructure and flying to a call for service. So we'll go ahead and open it up. I know the drone is actually getting and taking off currently. As Aaron is the pilot, he's right here behind me on the screen. We have visual observers outside keeping line of sight of the actual drone itself. But right now we have a few things on the screen that are popping up. BCSO has the ability to integrate some of their CAD systems, their calls for service that come in from the community. They're able to pinpoint each of those calls for service on the map here on the right side. And you can choose those from the pilot perspective as Aaron is flying to fly directly to those incidents. So as Aaron clicked on that, you can actually fly to those incidents, whether it's a motor vehicle theft, whether it's a specific code that BCSO would like to fly to. They have the ability to autonomously fly in that direction, meandering around obstacles, and flying to those locations and actually picking up where that call for service is at. So in the distance, you see the drone flying to it at around 36 miles per hour. Once it gets to that location, it is actually giving a live look or an augmented reality overlay into where that call for service came from. This provides the officers and the teams behind the desk situational intelligence to say, hey, this is a call we can clear, or hey, this is a call that we actually need to relay intel to our teams that are actually getting in their cruisers and responding to an actual incident. So the augmented reality overlay allows for situational intelligence for the remote pilot behind here on the screen, and that information can be relayed over to dispatch and the surrounding teams, whether it's the fire rescue team or additional teams from the patrol level en route to the actual call for service. So it looks like this call for service is something that we can just clear. This is a non-suspicious car. We've checked it out. It's all good. As we go back to our screen, there's a couple of different mission sets that we can also go tackle now as this drone is receiving calls for service in real time. Keep the peace, KTP, is a call for service that we're going to go to now, automatically reshifting its direction and going to this location for situational intelligence for another call for service that would come up. So this is a simulation of what could happen in real time around fixed locations or even deployed at a patrol level. So as the drone is flying, of course, we've got obstacle avoidance. Aaron has complete control of this. He can look around, making sure that he's kind of tracking down anything that he needs to be wary of in relaying to his patrol teams that are on the ground. Once he gets to said location, he has the ability to either stop the mission, or pause the mission, and continue going. But that live feed is also brought to you by 5G and LTE technology that allows us to have a continuous connection from here inside the actual substation itself. Awesome. And we're actually located here in this building. As we're flying around, we're at around, 200 feet it looks like, almost 350. The last thing I want to mention is Skydio is a true partner with other technology companies such as Axon. I know BCSO has invested in a partnership with Axon too as well. Axon has body cams. They have other devices that are part of the technology stack. One of the things that we've seen as a game-changing and groundbreaking technology is integrating those body cams of where your teams are in the field into this workflow. So we've got some teams on the ground that have actual body cams on them. As Aaron pulls up the map feature, we can actually showcase where those body cams are as well. So I think they're popping up. Is your body cam outside? Talking ahead of you, sorry. So again, as we have pre-programmed these fake incidents here on the left, there's also the integrations for into your fusion center and relaying intel to teams like the New Mexico State Police too as well. So as we talk about joint task force, these calls for service, the QR codes that you can get from the actual live stream can be relayed to your teams on the ground. So you're increasing situational intelligence and using drones as a true force multiplier for the entire team, especially here in Albuquerque. Okay, awesome. Anything else you wanted to showcase, Aaron?
I think it's everything. Show off some of the zoom capabilities in the thermal camera.
Okay. Yeah, we'll showcase a little bit of the zoom capabilities in the thermal camera. This is a radiometric thermal, so great for the fire service, but also great for picking up heat signatures at night for lost hikers, for hotspot areas that we need to detect. As we zoom in, it's got capabilities that are up to 128x zoom on the actual camera itself and a 64 megapixel. And then also a thermal camera that is radiometric. So as Sheriff mentioned, with the LA fires happening, there's also the joint effort of picking up hotspots, picking up vulnerability points where you could have flare-ups in the event of a fire. So thermal capabilities are super impactful here. The last thing we'll mention, as Aaron switches back to his color camera, is the ability to gain situational intelligence in terms of just the address locations as they're flying. There's this thing that we use called street overlays, commonly used on some of your news crew helicopters or even on BCSO's helicopters to relay intel of where they actually are. They get the call for service. They don't really know where they are. MLK Boulevard, 2nd Street. There's a lot of challenges in terms of the situational awareness in these locations of where you're actually flying to. So addresses, street overlays are a huge asset to teams flying via a drone here. Great. Anything else you guys wanted to cover off on? Questions?
Can you demonstrate how far can the drone be in order to be able to capture what a suspect might be holding in their hands? Possibly maybe the operator outside with the remote?
Sure. In terms of the zoom capabilities, again, as we're zooming in on the operators outside, to decipher this, you can see things that are about 800 to 1,000 feet away from the actual drone with crystal clarity, right? So looking at license plates, gaining situational intelligence. There's a great story around an agency out in California that got a call for service around a individual with a weapon, with a gun. As they were able to zoom in closer, they realized the gun was actually a gun lighter. So as they were lighting their cigarette, it again is a force multiplier in terms of giving that intel to boots on the ground to de-escalate that situation to something that could prove to be a challenging situation if those officers didn't have that intel, right? As Aaron is zooming in on one of our colleagues outside, keeping line of sight of the drone, making sure he's, we're checking the boxes on who that guy is, okay? Not a suspect, not a individual of concern. And here's our lovely visual observer keeping eyesight of the drone, keeping within FAA regulation for today. Awesome.
All right, take any questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Sheriff, can we pop the lights on so you're not like a dark head in the background?
Go ahead. Or
I
any
remember
question.
when I talked to you in Germany about a year and a half ago, you started with 9 drones, 7 Chinese, 1 American, 1 French. Talk to me about those drones in addition to these drones and how many you have and what your goal is.
Yeah, so right now we have 15 and we have 5 from Skydio, the X10 that you're seeing now coming in, so that'll give us a total of 20, and then we'll start building on the program even further from there.
What are you going to do with the old drones?
The old drones eventually will probably be phased out. We're waiting to see what happens with regulatory issues with the Congress, DJI, everything that we talked about before in reference to stuff being made in China. We'll be looking at phasing those out. When? I don't know yet until I talk to my undersheriff and the drone operators, but we have a plan for succession.
How many deputies do you have trained for flying drones?
Right now, all of these here, but we just added and put out for an extra 10 deputies, so a total of 25.
So funding for this, how much is it costing you? Is it a yearly thing since it is in partnership with Skydio, or is it a one-time fee?
It'll be, so right now, for when you look at it, anywhere is a 3 to 5 year contract. I'm asking for capital outlay for $8 million. Immediately, just for this program, I will be setting aside out of the $8 million, $4 to $6 million, and it could go higher than that, but at least to start up, it will be $4 million for the DFR program.
And just from looking at this, this seems very similar to your police helicopter video that you get to. Talk to me about the difference between the two. I know there's times where the chopper can't fly because of winds. Talk about how this is a game changer for your department.
A game changer is just to supplement the air unit. Everyone's going to ask, hey, does this replace the air unit? No, I will never, ever replace the air unit. I'll make myself clear on that. It's to supplement it. Say here in the East Mountain, we have a storm that's coming in Monday and Tuesday. If the air unit can't go up there on another mission, it supplements and we can do more than one mission at a time. So it's just a force multiplier.
Outside, you mentioned that this tech was not just for BCSO, it was for all the agencies who wanted to use it. Can you speak to that partnership?
Anybody that comes, I believe we have a Valencia County Sheriff's Office coming to visit us. We go all around and we try to help our surrounding counties. I've said for a long time now that crime just isn't here in Bernalillo County. We'll see it pushed out in Sandoval. We'll see it pushed into Rio Rancho, Valencia County. If they need an asset that helps officer safety and community safety, I will always leave that available to make sure that we're assisting our other people.
What else would you like the public to know about this?
Public to know is why we're having this press conference, is to show how transparent we are and what we are actually doing. Not just about transparency in reference to the funding aspect of it, but what we're actually doing with it, because the first question that will be, hey, is this the big brother syndrome here? Are you keeping an eye on everything that we're doing? No. This is to help get you not just a faster response time, but more of a tactical advantage, and then you won't have 5 or 6 deputies showing up. You might only have 1, if any, at all. That gives us a huge more choices to pull from to make sure that we're handling each call appropriately.
Sheriff, are these drones kept in? I know for right now you have them certain deputies' cars since they are licensed to fly them. Will this eventually be able to reach, like, we're gonna have one in each region, or is it gonna be the same as we're gonna call this deputy out to kind of help us with this at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, so the program that you're seeing now, and I'll explain it in steps. Right now, what we had in 2023, we had 9 drones, as you said. Now we're getting up to 15 or 20. The next step that we will go is these X-10s that you see will be in trunks of cars of deputies we choose. Once we go in the next 6 to 8 months to get from the FAA to fly remotely and to make sure that a real-time operations center is up and we have the proper protocol, structure, framework, and SOP in place, then we will move on to where we're flying remotely, and we will first start working out in, meaning we will always cover the main areas we have, such as East Mountain, North Valley, South Valley. We're seeing hot spots within the city. Hopefully the Albuquerque Police Department, they will go with the same technology, and then we can start making sure that we're integrating drones for coverage for all of our officers and communities. So hopefully it works in concert. So I would throw a shout out to the Albuquerque Police Department. If they do go through this program, we're ready to partner with them.
We've heard from APD that there's a delay in communicating what they see on the drone to what officers know. How do you guys plan to get around that?
You're always going to have to work out kinks. I know I look funny holding this thing up. I know we're going to have to work out kinks, and you're probably talking about 5G and LTE connectivity. That's one of the reasons where we're going in steps. We will never just get a program, go and buy a bunch of equipment and see what we're doing. We want to make sure next that with the X-10s that we're putting in deputies' trunks, what weaknesses do we have around the county that we cover and other areas that we want to cover in the future, and how do we put that infrastructure to make sure if it goes down or if we have a weak spot, what do we put in the middle to make sure that it's not being so delayed. I would rather have a delay that's 20 to 25 seconds than a 14-minute delay to a 7-hour delay. That delay, we can always slow things down. I've been talking about tactical advantage all day, so I'll go back to my SWAT days. De-escalation is about slowing things down. So the lag in time, if we do in fact see that from a drone to our first responder, I don't mind because it makes them slow down, and then we start getting more resources into the area.
Are these drones in use right now with your equipment?
The drones are in use right now. The X-10s that we just saw, they are en route. Hopefully, I don't know what the time frame will be using the X-10s, but hopefully here in the next month or so. So I would say, usually we say month, 4 to 6 weeks. I saw something back there.
Sheriff, you're big on technology. Today you're adding drones. What else would you like to equip your deputies with in the near future?
Everything and anything that cuts down administrative tax or administrative tasks, and also anything that can save the community and deputies and a better, more efficient response time for the community we serve.
Is there anything that you have in mind?
Oh yeah, but I won't announce it yet. More to come.
Sheriff, the aircraft you're showcasing today are the larger extreme version. You still have some of the smaller ones to go inside buildings and such for tactical purposes and tunnels and such.
We do, and we'll always be upgrading. I'll just put it out there. I'm very transparent with what I do. I travel all around the nation to do my research. Some things I can't answer because I had to sign an NDA on some other technologies being that we're looking at. All the programs that we have, I will tell you that we will be looking to not only expand, but make sure with the infrastructure in place that we have that we're always improving. And I want to make sure that we have the best technology there is. Everyone's going to ask about money. I'm telling you something. PS5 is better than Xbox, my personal opinion. You get what you pay for. If we go cheap, and we've done it, other than liability costs for a lawsuit on something that we could have had to save a life, I would rather pay the money in technology for the top tier technology to save that life and make sure that we're not spending more money down the road to fix the cheapest version.
Would it be right to say your drones are divvied up right now in units? Because of those standing here, you have open space, you have traffic, you have your normal standard deputies. So are those divvied up into different departments or units within your department right now so they have someone to respond to?
They are, and then we'll be expanding. So we said we're going to have a total of 25 drone operators, and I think the scenario gave at 2 in the morning if we have that. Yes, we're already going to be planning with 1 or 2, I wouldn't say full-time, but they will be the experts in that area. That will expand to make sure our deputies have coverage. This is going to take time. That's why I said 6 to 8 months for what we're seeing for remote. In a year from now, I'm pretty confident we're going to be fully up to where we want to be and start expanding from there.
Sheriff, split-second decisions will always happen, but is there anything of the top, is there any incidents of the top of your head that you could say that maybe this technology would have created a different outcome?
I wouldn't say that. I would say with proof that we have already saved lives. I think we put it on our Facebook, also on our social media, and how we had somebody come out peacefully during a SWAT call. I would like to make sure that we're saving lives. We have to look at the Padito Mesa. We want to make sure that there's better service. What if there's somebody in the middle of a field firing a rifle and somebody thinks that their life is threatened, but they're actually just shooting at a target? We want to make sure that that drone is clearing the call before a deputy has to go there and put them in a bad spot to make a split-second decision on taking a life. That is what I'm looking at to try to prevent, to make sure that all of my deputies are safe as they respond to calls.
Can I ask an unrelated topic to this? The session's next week. Other than money for your drones, are you asking for anything else?
As far for funding, yeah, funding will be in House Bill 2, $450,000 reoccurring. And as we're seeing in California, I want to make sure that the air assets we have and the air unit that we have, that we are assisting what we can do as far as search and rescue. We're probably one of the few, if not the only, best trained search and rescue teams with our Metro Air Unit. We have UNMH on board. We have the Bernalillo County Fire and Rescue. Fire suppression will come down the road. We've seen what's going on in California. We want to make sure that we are able to respond around the state to assist with that. We know that we will have fires, and we know that capabilities and resources are lacking in the state of New Mexico. We want to make sure the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office isn't just for Bernalillo County, but all the citizens in the state of New Mexico.
So very similar to what calls Larry was taking before help around the state.
Yes, we want to get to that point. Fire suppression takes a little longer, but we'll be there. All right, thank you.